Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Halftime Report. It's 12 noon and we're halfway through the trading session, so it's a perfect time to take you through all that has happened so far. I'm Samira Abdi and with me is Nigel D'Souza. Hi, Nigel. Good afternoon to you. But, today the market hasn't given us a lot to cheer about. So
Absolutely.
We've seen slim gains actually on the frontline indices as we speak, just about, a few points higher. But the market has, Nigel, sort of drifted towards the low point of trade. But
Absolutely.
see, the interest in the primary market still remains alive. Dixon IPO has been fully subscribed on day two.
Absolutely, yes. So, there are pockets of strength. But as you're saying, that move towards that 10,000 is getting halted. And at the higher levels, we are seeing some supply pressure as well. So every time we go to around the 9,950, 9,975, we are seeing some selling. The bulls will really be trying to conquer that mark. Remember, in Monday's trading session as well as Wednesday's trading session, we made a low. And in fact, after that, the bulls managed to defend those levels. Now we're having, another scenario that's playing out. That's the bears. They are trying to protect the 10,000, the 9,975. Any which ways, we've got plenty of stocks, plenty of companies to talk about. So first up, let's run you through all the top stories as we speak. The markets are marginally off the day's high, but frontliners hold in the green. The mid-caps outperformed today with 0.5% gain for the index.
A big CNBC TV18 exclusive. Bharat Forge says they are interested in buying the stake in BEML. Adds that the stock rallies as the management says 2018 will be a strong year after the August Class 8 truck orders are steady.
And the biggest housing finance companies of India speak to CNBC TV18, say demand is robust, but there are pockets of asset quality worries.
Aditya Birla Capital starts trading after 2 days of circuit. Grasim 2 gains in tandem.
Okay, then let's take a quick check on the markets. We have selling on various companies. You just pull up the intraday chart of Ultratech Cement. You'll see that that one has moved virtually to the low point of the day. Pull up the mid-cap index. Let's see if that is still holding well in the green. But there are certain stocks that have seen some selling pressure. I think the advanced decline ratio as well at one point of time, it was very, very favorably in favor of the advances. So let's get the crisscross lines. That should be up for you on the screen. I'm searching for some gainers and some stocks that are moving higher in the last few minutes. Cadila Health, let's pull up the intraday chart to there. That stock is up close to around 4% as we speak. So that one should be up for you. And even Repco Home Finance, that as well is gaining close to around 0.5% approximately. So keep an eye out on a few of these stocks. But let's get chatting with our first management. We have with us Mr. Shekhar Bajaj, the CMD of Bajaj Electricals, who joins us. Hi, Mr. Bajaj. Always a pleasure talking to you, sir. Thanks so much for joining in. The big talking factor over the last couple of months has been the...
Because November was Diwali, and therefore October 19 being Diwali this year, I expect September onward, and especially September should be a bumper month for us.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Bajaj. Good afternoon to you, sir. Your distribution model is, looking to be shaping up. Could you say at what stage you are in of the transition?
We've covered 60% of the market. We've crossed 100,000 outlets through whom we are doing a weekly beat, if I use it, where you go to each of them. So 100,000 we've covered by March. We will be completing our distribution model, which will be covering about 160,000 outlets. And already 3 states were completed last quarter, and now another 3 states will be completed by end of September. So I think after the rollout which takes place, then you start getting the benefit of the distribution model, because the wholesalers are being stopped and the distribution is being taken care of. And therefore the 3 states which have been now already been completely rolled out, our distribution model, we are showing a growth of anything between, in the month of August, 15 to 30% growth is taking place in these 3 states, where we've rolled out Bihar, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu.
All right, Mr. Bajaj, I want to ask you a more basic question. What is the current market share in the various segments that you function? The fans, the lighting, the coolers segment. If you could tell us, what is your market share and where is that headed?
Okay. Lighting, it has got CFL, it's got LED, it's got GLS. So therefore, if you say LED, what's your market share? I can answer that.
Yeah.
Our market share will be anything 7-8%.
Okay.
But if you say appliances, there are 21 range of appliances. Okay. Somewhere it will be 5%, somewhere it may be 20%. So, you know, giving a market share has really no meaning unless we talk about fans. Yes, we got a market share of 12 to 13%. That because fan is one individual product, so I can talk about market share. But appliances has no meaning. If you say we are market leaders in water heater, we are market leaders in mixer grinder, we are market leaders in iron, we are market leaders in oven, toaster, griller. So that I can tell you, but what is the market share individually, I would not know exactly, and it's not very important, but we are clearly market leaders in this.
Right,
but
sir.
anything from 5 to 20% is the range of our market shares
Point
in
taken,
these
sir.
different products.
Okay, sir, you're number 3 currently in the cooler space. We understand that Kenstar is on the block. Is this something that might interest you? If not, if say something like a Crompton steps in, how could it change the competitive landscape?
Actually, it would not make much of difference whether it's Kenstar with Videocon controlling it or whether it's Crompton controlling it. I don't think there's any problem because Videocon also is quite aggressive in that way. But we would not be interested in Kenstar because we are already established brand. For us to have Kenstar doesn't give us much mileage, and the type of pricing that is being considered and being talked about is just too high. I don't see a payback coming for it is 8 to 10 years. Now those type of things is financially, if you have cash surplus, then it's a good thing. But if you are going to borrow money to invest in this, it doesn't make any sense.
All right. Okay, Mr. Bajaj, thanks so much, sir, for stopping by and, in fact, giving us all those details. All the best for the remainder of this fiscal. But on that note, then, let's cut across to SIAM's annual convention. It's underway in Delhi, and I think the MD of Tata Motors is speaking. So let's cut across.
It's less such kind of a pull, where we, the industry, and the competition within the industry, exploring new business opportunities and actually translating mega trends into solutions. We are not necessarily the ones who are currently pulling it. It's currently largely pushed up to the extent that the industry is eagerly waiting for changes in the regulatory environment by the government. But in brackets, unfortunately, sometimes not only and just by the government and the given direction and provided by policies, it's very often also driven by independent NGOs or even by the courts, as we have just recently very painfully and expensively experienced as far as the Supreme Court ruling on the transition from BS3 to BS4 was concerned. And this is something, as much as we actually request a collaborative approach with the government in jointly drafting the policies, where we have a responsibility. We as the industry also do have a responsibility where we actually pull on this market, where we provide new technologies, where we provide and explore new business opportunities and business models for the market. And we are the ones who actually provide the solutions to the mega trends, again, as it is, for example, the smart cities. And this is something we should never forget, that this is one of the major differentiating factors between India as a market and lots of the international markets. If I would actually take you on the journey of what I have observed in the early phase of my career, the safety cell as a construction principle of a body in white, airbag implementation. Not a single airbag has ever come into a car because the government wanted to get an airbag. It was all driven by the industry. And the commitment to safety and the commitment to actually bring technology for differentiation purposes, and then to actually elevate the entire industry.
The markets have flattened out. In fact, we briefly moved into the red. There are a whole host of stocks are moving around. Pull up JP Infra. Just take a look at the intraday chart over there. The stock was down 4-5%, I remember, in the morning. That one is spiked up, and how? Pull up JP Infra. Tilak Nagar Industries as well. Just take a look at that stock. It's up close to 10%. Suntech Realty as well is running along as we speak. And I remember, in fact, Mangalam was telling us just yesterday, no, we're talking about Tilak Nagar Industries and we're talking about Suntech Realty. So let's get both those two stocks. Aegis Logistics. Yesterday it had a big run. The numbers looked very, very good. And today, in fact, the stock is up close to around 7%. It's been a big outperformer. And that stock as well continues to run along. But let's get in some details then on GST. There's a crucial GST Council meet on September 9th. They're going to be discussing 70 to 80 goods and maybe 20 to around 30 services. Timsi Jaipuri has been on top of that. She joins in with further details. Timsi.
Yes, as you rightly mentioned, it's a crucial meeting this weekend in Hyderabad, and GST Council will be discussing rates of about 70 to 80 goods and 20 to 30 services on September 9. GST rates on hybrid cars, cess to be levied on luxury cars, etc. are slated for discussion. GST Council may take up the auto industry view on creating a new mid-size car category also. What we also pick up from sources that GST Council is likely to discuss the issue of branded and non-branded food items. Council will also be discussing various issues and concerns raised by exporters, and especially for the handicraft industry, the Council is likely to discuss a rate revision demand. The Council is likely to discuss whether the rates on handicrafts should be cut down to a single rate of 12%. We also learned that GST Council will be discussing rate revision in services side, especially for movie tickets, race course tickets, under 19 football league, etc., which is going to be quite crucial for a lot of areas, especially across India. This demand is coming. We also learned from sources that the Council will also approve certain changes in laws and rules which are likely to be taken up for discussions in CGST and SGST. Center to also appraise GST Council about the first month GST collections, which is also very crucial, and GSTN issues definitely will be taken up in detail because a lot of complaints are coming. So all this is slated for discussion and probably some conclusion, especially in terms of certain goods and services rate revision, is what we are looking at.
All right, Timsi, thanks very much for all those details. Let's focus to the stocks then. It's time for movers and shakers. And top of our list is Bharat Forge. And Varinder is here to tell us everything that the management spoke about. Varinder, a big boost for the stock today.
Well, Bharat Forge gave us a bigger headline than the company itself, BML, of course. But focusing on Bharat Forge, steady to strong set of numbers coming in from Bharat Forge. Don't see Y-on-Y numbers in terms of the US North truck sales, which we were watching out for last 3-4 days. It got delayed a bit this time, but 50% rise on a lower base. But importantly, on month-to-month, if we just see graphics, they are good, steady. 14% increase month-on-month, you can't complain at all. The increase, if you just see in the last 3-4 months, it has been 2.5%, 9%. The biggest increase, if you notice, it was 7-8 months back, which was nearly 40% again on a very low base. So the point here is simple, that there is continuous revival happening in the North American market, truck market for Bharat Forge, which is an important segment, not the complete segment, of course, for Bharat Forge. So which is a good sign, and the management has been always confident since last 2 or 3 quarters. The body language, the words what they've been using, that FY18 will be very strong for company. All the verticals are sprucing up for the company. So let's see. But today, good day for Bharat Forge.
All right, Varinder, thanks so much for that. Well, we spoke to Baba Kalyani, the CMD of Bharat Forge, earlier today, and he tells us that they're interested in buying a stake in BML. Let's listen in.
We're looking at all possible areas of opportunities. The process has not started yet, but sure, I would not shy away from saying that we are not looking at it.
All right, with that, let's shift focus then to Shriram Transport. Abhishek, why are you tracking it?
So Credit Suisse has come out with a note, Sumera, wherein they have maintained the target price and the recommendation on the stock. But what they have mentioned is that they are now positive outlook on the truck resale value over the next 2 to 3 years. They have mentioned that due to transition from BS3 to BS4, CV manufacturers have already increased their prices by 6%. So when they transit from BS4 to BS6, let's say by 2020, another 10% in price hike is seen amongst CV manufacturers, which will lead to greater demand for resale or used vehicles. And they have also mentioned that reducing NPA on a like-to-like basis is positive for Shriram Transport. That is why we are seeing stock surging today.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Abhishek. And well, you were tracking the AB Capital listing as well very, very closely. You had told us long time back that you're expecting it at around 240, 250 rupees, which was at the higher end. And then from there, the stock did settle today at around the 199 rupees, but the circuit has opened up, so that's good news for, you know, AB Capital, and also good news for Grasim as it holds take over there. Varinder.
Well, you mentioned the important points, Nigel, but clearly, you know, at 213, it works out to be nearly 45,000 crores market cap from lower circuit to upper circuit, which is a good thing. Important is that, you know, that the price which came on the first day itself was 250, it went to 200 or 190 something, and now stabilizing around this level. There are buyers, of course, you know, big names which are popping around in the market. So, you know, on these valuation, people in the market were expecting 180, 190 to be the price where the stock would settle. So that was the price, and huge buying coming in AB Capital. The valuation now seems fair because, you know, if I remember correctly, I think Azim Premji bought stake around 145 rupees per share, and adjusting around 190 rupees was what people were expecting. Grasim, clearly, because of the SOTB, some of the parts value, you know, the stock has been moving up. At 200 rupees, the sum of the parts calculation for Grasim works around 1310, 210 for AB Capital around 1320. The chart is on your screen. So Grasim in lieu of that is moving up. Again, you know, some of the numbers which have been working for AB Capital, people are watching out for FY18. But now, since, you know, almost all these financials have given are trading at a valuation of 4-5 times, people are now watching out for FY19 rather than FY18. So on that basis, you know, people are saying, you know, it's trading around 3.5 times, which is good, which is big. And the investor presentation given by the management yesterday in the Motilal conference was very, very encouraging, which I heard.
All right, Varinder, thanks for that. A stock that's on fire today has been Punj Lloyd. We'll get to that in just a bit. But for the moment, let's shift focus back to the Siam annual convention. Ronojoy Banerjee has caught up with Pawan Goenka, the MD of M&M. Let's hear him out.